everyone, welcome back to Through the Bible with Liz and Friends. Today Ozzie is with me again because he was very excited about today's lesson.
Yeah, because last time you took forever in sharing whether Jacob got a wife or not. Then you ended up with a cliffhanger saying that today you would share what happened between Jacob and Esau. I just hope that today doesn't take as long as last time.
Ozzie, it didn't take that long. It only took a couple of minutes.
Well, it felt longer.
Okay, well, you're right. We ended last time sharing how Jacob got to marry Leah and Rachel, and he worked for Laban for 14 years. Well, after the 14 years, Jacob stayed on and worked with Laban for another 6 years.
Why?
Well, because Laban realized after the 14 years that his flocks had greatly flourished due to God's favor on Jacob. So clearly he wanted Jacob to stay.
Of course.
So Laban and Jacob made an agreement, and Jacob stayed for another 6 years.
What happened after those 6 years? Did Jacob's mom finally reach out to him and say, it's safe to return?
No. Unfortunately, Jacob never got to see or talk to his mom again.
What? That's so sad.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that was the consequence for the sins that Jacob had done. Well, anyways, no. Jacob decided to leave after those 6 years because, well, unfortunately, Laban started having a really bad attitude towards Jacob and was mistreating him, treating him poorly. And finally, God just said, Jacob, it's time to go back to the land of your fathers, and I will be with you.
Oh, so Jacob was just obeying God.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, Jacob still was a bit afraid of Laban, so he didn't tell Laban he was leaving. He was afraid that Laban would hurt him or steal from him.
Oh no, did he escape from Laban?
Almost. Laban clearly eventually noticed that Jacob had left with everything that belonged to Jacob and his family, and he chased after him.
Oh no!
Yep, and unfortunately, Jacob's fears were a little correct. Laban had intended to hurt him.
He did? What happened?
Well, you see, God spoke to Laban, and he told him to not harm Jacob or try to convince him to return with him. So when Laban reached Jacob, they made some sort of agreement, and Laban was able to tell his daughters and his grandchildren goodbye.
Oh, that's good. Thankfully, God stepped in and they could work something out.
Yes, thankfully. Well, when they were getting very close to the land that Jacob and his family were heading to, Jacob sent some messengers to Esau.
Oh, good. We're finally getting to find out what happened to Jacob and Esau.
Yes. Well, the messengers came back and said to Jacob, Esau is coming.
Yay!
With 400 men.
What? 400 men?
Yes. And Jacob got scared.
Why? God said that he would be with him and protect him. I mean, he just protected him from Laban when Laban intended to hurt him.
You're correct. God did. But unfortunately, Jacob remembered all the wrong things that he had done to Esau those many years ago.
Oh, that's true.
And he forgot the promises that God had given to him. But God had a plan to remind Jacob of his promises.
What did he do?
Well, when they were almost there, Jacob sent ahead of him his flocks and his servants and his family, and he was at the very end.
Okay.
And God wrestled with Jacob.
What? What?
God met Jacob and wrestled with him, and which got Jacob's attention.
I'd say so. Somebody wrestling with me would get my attention. What'd you do?
I thought there was a bug, and it was my hair.
Oh. It's not your hair okay?
Yes, it's always okay.
Thanks.
Anyways, back to the story.
It's not my fault.
Anyways, Ozzie,
Sorry.
God met Jacob and wrestled with him. And afterwards, God told Jacob that he would now be called Israel because Jacob had wrestled with God and man and won.
What does that mean?
Well, remember in the Bible how the people were given names based off of the meaning of the name.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob meant trickster.
Well, that was fitting for him.
Yes, it was. But God was giving him a new name, the name Israel, which meant that he was triumphant with God.
Oh.
Yeah, God sometimes gave people new names to give new meaning to their life.
Kind of like when he changed Aaron to Abraham.
Yes, exactly like that. In this case, giving him the new name of Israel was to give him the confidence to meet Esau.
Oh, did it work?
Yes, it did. Oddly, though, in the Bible, they kept referring to Israel as Jacob.
So unlike Abraham.
Yeah. However, Israel's family became known as the Israelites.
Oh, the great nation that Jesus came from.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, as they were nearing Esau, like he could see him in the distance, kept sending Esau gifts and promising to be Esau's servant and bowing down to him.
Did Esau accept?
Well, when Esau saw Jacob, he ran to him and embraced him.
He gave him a hug?
Yes, he was so happy to see him.
Did he accept the gifts?
Kind of. Israel kept insisting that Esau take the gifts, even if he wasn't going to accept Israel as his servant, because you realize Esau forgave Israel. He did accept the gifts because Israel insisted on it.
Esau forgave Israel?
Yeah.
And Israel changed his behavior.
Yes. Israel changed his behavior because of God. When Israel trusted in God's promises and followed God, life worked for the better for him. Didn't have the consequences like when he disobeyed God, didn't trust in God, causing him to never see his mother again, or working for Laban for all those years.
Yeah.
So it's the same for us. When we trust and follow God, our life turns out for the better.
Ah.
Well, that's it for our story for today. So until next time, remember to
Go let your light shine.
bye, friends.
Ah!